So I'm making jollof rice today. So in this bowl, I've got 2 onions which I have sliced up. Got some oil which I'm frying them in. And in the blender, I have 1 can of plum tomatoes, and I've got two peppers inside. The amount of pepper you use is up to you, but I've got 2 of the Scotch bonnet peppers in here. Then I've also added spring onions to it as well, but you haven't got to add the spring onions if you don't want to, because you already have regular onions that you're frying up already. Adding the fresh Scotch bonnet peppers, if you don't have that, you can always just use the powdered pepper, but the pepper is to your discretion. Just add the pepper to your taste, really. I've also added some fresh ginger as well. Again, the ginger is not compulsory, but it makes it taste very nice as well. The amount of ginger that I've added is probably up to like that finger there. I peeled it and I'm just adding it there. So I'm now going to blend this mixture up. Okay, so I added the shrimps to it. I've added a teaspoon of curry powder and a teaspoon of nutmeg. But some people like to add more curry powder to it, and they can add more nutmeg if you wish to, but I think this is about okay. I'm adding the blended tomatoes, pepper, ginger mixture. I'm adding it to here now as well, and just stir it. If you were to use meat, like beef, instead of using the shrimp, what you would do is cook the meat separately. So you would cook the meat with your stock cube, or if you haven't got stock cube, just salt and pepper. You dice the meat up, and then you would fry it separately in another container. And then once the sauce starts to get a bit more better cooked, as in it thickens a bit more, then you would add the fried diced meat to it. And don't forget to season it with salt or Maggi cube, for your taste. I just added 1 Maggi stock cube. For those of you that are vegetarians, basically just eliminate the meat or shrimp. Don't add any of that to it. Just follow the same steps, but just do not add any meat or shrimps to it. Continue to stir this so it doesn't stick to the pan. And I've also added a bay leaf to this. That's just to help to fragrance it and improve the taste. I'm also adding roughly like 2 to 3 tablespoons of tomato puree, tomato paste. I'm just adding that in there so that it will redden the sauce. So when you cook up the rice, it looks more orangey. Okay, so those of you that are going to be adding the meat to it, when it starts bubbling, then you can see the sauce has thickened a bit more. You can see that it's actually gone from this part, the juice from there to the bottom, so it's thickened nicely. Now you add the meats that you fried, diced and fried, to this. So I'm just going to add the vegetables to this. I'm just using frozen vegetables, so a mixture of peas and carrots. There's nothing like jollof rice without vegetables, so I'm using the frozen vegetables. Okay, so this stew is done now. When you know that it's done, you see the oil start to rise slightly to the top. I didn't put too much oil in this, but it was quite steamy. I don't know whether you can see this, but you should see the oil. You see how it's glistening a little bit more? You have like a darker patch there and lighter patch, so that means the stew is done. So it's now time to add the rice. Okay, so before you add the rice to this, add a little bit more water because the stew is quite thick. Add some water, more water to it, and bring it to the boil, and then we'll add the rice. Okay, so this is bubbling nicely, so I'm not going to add the rice to it. So I'm adding this is roughly 3 mugfuls of rice that I've added to it. Yeah, with the rice, you can wash it to get rid of the excess starch, or if the rice is okay, just leave it as that. Also, some people, I like my jollof rice with some spaghetti. So I'm going to add some spaghetti to it. Just breaking it up into small pieces and adding it to it. But that is completely optional. I just like it like that. So just stir this. Just stir it around so that it's completely covered. Okay, so I've stirred it, and then just cover it up and lower the setting on the stove. I've put it to the lowest heat setting. And then just stir it occasionally so that the rice does not burn. It doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. I mean, I'm using basmati rice. That's the kind of rice that I like. Okay, so remember to stir it occasionally, so that the rice doesn't stick to the bottom. As you can see, it's already started to stick. Ooh, it's very steamy. Yeah, and then continue to stir this. I've had to transfer the pot to the smallest hob so that and still lowered it to the lowest heat setting so that it doesn't burn. See, after I've stirred this, I noticed that most of the liquid is finished, has gone, absorbed in the rice, but the rice still looks a little bit hard. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it so that once the rice is cooked, it's soft. So just stir this again. Okay, and now that most of the liquid has disappeared, I'm just going to cover the rice with a clean plastic bag. This is so that as it's cooking, any steam that rises will go back inside and continue to cook the rice. The rice will be moist, not dry. So cover this and continue to cook it. And at this stage, because I've now covered the rice, I don't stir it anymore. I just check it to make sure that the rice has cooked. So the rice is cooked now. If you look at it, it's taking up a nice reddish color. You can still see the peas. For you to know when the rice is cooked, basically you just taste it and it should be relatively soft, just like how you normally cook rice. So that's done. So you just serve it either with some fried chicken and salad, or you can serve it on its own, about anything. So that's the jollof rice. You can see the peas there, and obviously if you had put the meat with it, you see the chunks of meat in there. Like I said, you can eat it with fried chicken and salad if you want to. I'm having mine with some fish. That's fish over here. Okay, so well, that's jollof rice. So I hope you enjoy making it, and I hope yours tastes as delicious as mine does.